The moment time stops and the real journey begins. A sacred transmission from the threshold of eternity. Opening transmission. There is a place within you where nothing moves, no clock ticks, no story unfolds. And yet, something vast is watching, alive, infinite, unbound by cause or sequence. This is not poetry. This is the truth behind every breath you've ever taken. And there will come a moment, perhaps it already has, when time collapses and you do not die, you awaken. Let us enter that moment now. 1. The illusion of movement. Time is not what we think it is. It appears to flow like a river, carrying our bodies from birth to death, our thoughts from past to future, our stories from origin to conclusion. But for the awakened eye, time is not a current, it is a curtain. Thin, flickering, stitched by memory and anticipation. What we call time is simply the mind trying to locate itself. Trying to organize the immeasurable into something it can survive. All suffering begins here, in believing the clock is real. 2. The moment that was never inside time. There is a crack in the illusion, a single silent moment, when everything seems to pause, and the entire structure of before and after collapses. This moment is not in the future. It is not in your plan. It is not at the end of your spiritual path. It is always already here. You are walking through it now, but the noise of the self disguises it as thought. When the mind becomes still, this moment becomes visible. When the breath becomes soft, this moment opens. And when the witness surrenders, you fall into it. Not like a descent, but like an undoing of everything that ever appeared solid. 3. What happens when time disappears? When time stops, you do not freeze, you do not die, you are not erased, you are finally revealed. Because the soul was never temporal, it was never born into a year, never aged with your body, never grew or declined. The soul is presence, unmeasured, unchanging, unbound. In the absence of time, awareness remembers itself. And what it remembers is not your history, it is stillness. And in that stillness, there is no need for becoming, no future self to chase, no past self to mourn, only the radiant mystery of pure being. The disorientation of timelessness. The ego trembles here, because it cannot exist outside of sequence. It is made of memory and expectation, of hopes, regrets, and imagined destinations. But in the place where time dissolves, there is no personal narrative to cling to, no you to protect, no life to finish. There is only now, but not the now of productivity or mindfulness cliches. This now is terrifyingly vast, endlessly silent, completely sovereign. Many spiritual seekers brush against it and retreat. They say it is too much, that they lost themselves for a moment. But that is the beginning of true freedom, not the loss of self, but the end of the illusion that self ever existed. 5. The birth of real seeing. When you are no longer oriented by time, you do not become confused, you become clear. You stop seeing through the lens of lack, always running, always fixing, always chasing. Instead, you see things as they are, not as you wish them to be, not as they used to be, not as they might one day become. You begin to see the stillness in all things, the unmoving center within all change. You see the sacred in the ordinary, the unspoken pulse behind each leaf, each sound, each pause in a conversation. This is not hallucination. This is the end of distortion. You are no longer a mind reacting to the world. You are awareness itself, observing, effortless, untouched. 6. The gateway to the real journey. And now we arrive, not at the end, but at the beginning that has no start. This is where the real journey begins, not the one fueled by desire for bliss, power, or enlightenment, but the journey that unfolds without distance, the journey of stillness walking within itself. It does not require effort, but it does require surrender. It does not lead to something else, but it dissolves everything that is not true. Here you do not learn, you unlearn, you do not become, you disappear into that which always was. This is not philosophy, this is not religion. This is direct perception, and once seen, it cannot be unseen. 7. How to enter this moment consciously. You may ask, how do I reach this state? How do I stop time? The answer is simple. You do not stop time. You stop believing in it. You stop chasing the next moment. You stop identifying with the one who moves. Instead, you listen. You feel the breath as it enters without intention. You feel the body as it rests without trying. You notice the pause between thoughts. And you fall into that pause again and again until you no longer remember how to move forward, because there is nowhere to go, only presence, only now, only this. And you are not inside it, you are it. 8. What it means to truly live without time. To live without time does not mean to abandon schedules or clocks. It means to no longer be defined by them. It means to do what is required in the world, but to no longer imagine that the world defines your value. It means to stop seeing your life as a linear arc, and instead to recognize it as a single eternal unfolding. In every breath, you are already whole. In every gesture, the universe is complete. There is nothing to reach, nothing to finish, nothing to fear, because the part of you that wanted to escape time was never truly you. What remains is awareness, and awareness needs nothing. Mystical reflection. There is a moment within this very sentence that is eternal. Not metaphorically, literally. A moment where your breath softens, your thinking fades, and something vast opens. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, but it is unmistakable. This is the gateway. This is the home you never left. And from this place you do not awaken into more knowledge, you awaken into silence, into peace, into being itself. Let that moment claim you now, not later, not after more practice, now. Time has already stopped. Will you notice? Sacred outro. Thank you for entering this timeless space with reverence and presence. If something in you felt remembered rather than taught, that is the transmission doing its work. Let this not be just a teaching. Let it be a turning point, a sacred undoing of the illusion of becoming. If this offering opens something in you, I welcome you to walk deeper with us. Subscribe, become a member, or simply sit in stillness, and let the next breath be the beginningless origin again. Next episode preview. In the next sacred transmission, we will explore returning from the void without forgetting the light, how to live after glimpsing the formless, how to carry stillness into form, and how to stay awake while re-entering the world. This is the continuation of your true path, and it begins as soon as you no longer seek it.